former president of the United States, Barack Obama, his father was an immigrant.
Yep.
So we always have to keep that in mind, that anything is possible, anything's achievable, but you got to work very hard. Nothing in life that is worth it is going to come easy. It's all going to be hard, it's all going to be work, but that's the beauty of it, because eventually you will overcome, you shall overcome, and you'll make something of yourself that you'll be very proud. So persevere, persevere, persevere. And the unfortunate thing about life is sometimes we give up right before we're about to make it. When I was running for city council, doing the work that I do now, a lot of folks told me I couldn't win. Told me I had no chance to win. I'm wasting my time because the guy that I ran against was supposed to be the next mayor of Grand Prairie.
No way.
And I ran an at-large race representing 200,000 people. So I served 200,000 people every day. And I was told that I couldn't do it. I had no chance. But what does that mean? It's just words.
Yeah.
Words are empty, but it's actions that matter. So be resilient, be persistent, be prayerful. Obviously, you pray to God and ask God for strength and for wisdom and for discernment. But keep pushing, because it's going to be worth it at the end of the day. But you gotta put your right foot forward to be able to make it.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Beyond Borders right here on the FAWAZ King HQ. My name is Candy Shay, and today my guest is a young man that inspires me, and I'm 100% sure that at the end of this episode you will be inspired as well. Welcome, Councilman Junior Asiana.
Thank you so much.
Welcome. Thank you for having us out of your busy schedule. We finally get you here. Thank you for joining us.
Most definitely. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Where do we start from? So, you're Nigerian. I mean, you're a councilman in the United States, but you were born in Nigeria.
Yes, ma'am.
At what age did you migrate to the U.S.?
Yeah, I was born in Nigeria. I moved to the States at the age of 2 years old.
Oh, okay.
Actually, 5 days before my 3rd birthday.
Oh.
So I've been here for what is it? Almost 22 years now.
Wow. So do you have any memory of your life in Nigeria? I mean, you were really young.
Yeah, I was 2, so I have a very, very small but vivid memory.
Yeah.
I remember playing around with my cousins. In Nigeria, we lived in a town right outside of Onitsha.
Okay.
And we had this one really high rise that I remember going towards the little, we called it a gatter back in Nigeria, the rail, and just looking over into the street and looking at all the kids running up and down the street. So I remember that, but that's pretty much the extent of my memory.
So you had most of your education right here in the U.S.?
Yeah, all of my education was conducted here in the U.S.
Wow, that's amazing. So, growing up here, what was it like? I mean, it's more or less like you were born here.
Yeah.
But did you think like there was anything missing in your childhood? When you look at, maybe your age mates that were born in Nigeria, maybe had like their first 15, 20 years back home. Do you feel like there was anything missing in your childhood being here?
Not necessarily, partly due to the fact that my parents are very Nigerian, really embraced the culture growing up. They speak Igbo in the house. So growing up, I understood. The thing is, when I first moved here, I could speak Igbo very fluently.
Oh, nice.
I understand it fluently to this day. I can speak enough to hold a conversation, have a conversation with an individual, but I'm just not fluent enough to carry it past that.
The little that you know.
See, I understand it. I will respond to you in English. I can do Ingilibo, as we would say. So I can mix the English and the Igbo together and be coherent. But when it comes to being having a large extent of speaking, I don't have that. But I don't feel like I really missed too much. My mother was proficient in cooking. We ate, every day we're eating Nigerian food at home. We didn't eat out that much growing up. So I feel like I had everything that a typical Nigerian American would have. Probably missed out on some of the other cultural things back home as a result of being here. But I think I didn't miss out on too much.
Nice. So do you think like, you're not married, are you?
No, not married.
Do you think like that would be a deal breaker? Do you wish to get married to a Nigerian or someone that has that Nigerian culture?
That's a really good question.
I know a lot of Nigerians that they're like, I have to marry someone that can cook Nigerian food. So
the way I've always looked at it, as a man, you need to learn how to cook.
That's right.
Men need to learn how to cook. You should not be self-reliant. You should be self-reliant and not rely on someone else to provide your daily bread and to provide your meal. Same way you go out there and work and provide for yourself, you gotta do the same thing when you get home and be able to cook. So ideally, I want to make sure I know how to cook, and I can cook rice and stew. I need to expand.
You said rice and stew?
Rice and stew is the most basic meal. So
you can't make jollof rice.
Jollof rice, all you do is...
That's not rice and stew.
No, once you're done making the stew, you cook the rice, all you do is you mix the two and you put it on the stove and let it cook and keep turning it until it turns orange. Jollof rice is just the next step after you conducted creating rice and stew. primarily is the next step. You don't agree?
No, that's not how to make jollof rice.
Oh, okay, well maybe we make it differently, but I've never made jollof rice specifically. But it's just to me, it's the next step after you've made rice and stew. But going back to where we were going, yeah. So I'm not really picky or particular on who to marry at the moment. Mm-hmm. I'm only 24 years old. I'll worry about that later. Just focus on doing the work I got to do right now. You put that in your jollof rice?
No!
I'm about to say.
What? What kind of jollof rice is that?
It's off here, but because.
How can you put ogbono in jollof rice?
I'm making sure because you're about food sometimes. You guys.
No, we do not have ogbono in jollof rice in Yoruba.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
No, we don't.
You guys put stew on top of your soup sometimes. I've seen that before.
Well, yeah, that's because there's sometimes people make like vegetable soup
and they put
and they don't like make it. They don't make it like really oily, or they make it like the way you have steamed spinach.
Gotcha.
So it's not really.
So look, that's why I was trying to make sure you weren't saying that. I was, I was getting nervous. I was okay.
Ogbono and jollof rice.
I'm praying that's not what you were saying.
By the way, if you do not know, Junior is the youngest councilman in the city of Grand Prairie, like in history ever.
Yes, ma'am.
Ever. The youngest. He is 24 years old. He's been a councilman for 2 years.
2 years.
You ran at the age of 22,
yes,
and you were in college.
I was.
What was the motivation? What happened to let me just be done with school and then start this journey? Why did you decide to run while you were still in college?
I think number one is God gave me an opportunity to run.
That's right.
I ran against an incumbent that had served for 12 years.
12 years.
When he was first elected, I was 10 years old. I was in 4th grade.
Whoa.
So I think God truly just gave me an opportunity, and I decided that my city, the city of Grand Prairie, deserved some really diverse representation. At the time, the city council was not representative of the population of the city. So I decided to take on that leap of faith, run on issues and on policies that I believe would help the majority of the city, if not all residents in the city.
Right.
And it wasn't easy, because in my race we had 6 candidates, including myself. After the initial general election, we had a runoff election, and I defeated the incumbent in the runoff election at the age of 22 years old. So it wasn't easy, but it was worth it, and I thank God for the opportunity to serve.
We thank God. Did it affect schoolwork at the time?
Say it again?
Was schoolwork affected at the time?
No, not primarily. Due to the fact it was my last semester,
right.
I had finished up most of my classes, and if I had thank you. I graduated summa cum laude with a 3.91 GPA.
Whoa!
If I had wanted to, I could have graduated the semester before.
Right.
But I wanted to do the full 4 years, utilize my complete scholarship at UT Arlington.
You had a scholarship.
Yeah, because if you don't do the full 4 years, you don't get the last remaining money. So I wanted to make sure I used the scholarship. Either you use it or you lose it.
I get it.
Yeah. So I wanted to make sure I completed my full 4 years rather than rushing through 3.5 years when I still had another class I could knock out and use the
that's
scholarship.
amazing. And you're also the first African American to be a councilman in Grand Prairie since the early 1990s.
Since the early 1990s, yes, ma'am.
You're a little first. How do your parents feel?
They're very proud.
I know. I met them, and they're just like, they could barely speak. They were just sitting there, and your mom was just always smiling.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, they're super proud.
Yeah, so I thank God. I mean, it's a blessing to win an election while your parents are still alive, and for them to witness it with their eyes, especially immigrant parents. That work so hard to get here.
You have siblings?
I have 2 brothers and 1 sister.
Okay.
They're aged at 21. My brother Franklin he's 22 now. Chisholm is 19. He turns 20 next month. And my sister Asiana is 17 years old.
Oh, so you're the first.
I'm the oldest, yes, ma'am.
Pace setter.
To an extent. My siblings are doing amazing too.
Nice.
I'll say that they're passing me as well. So
nice.
I'm trying to set an example, but they're all doing amazing.
Nice. So would you say you got good enough support from Nigerians when you were running?
Definitely. Grand Prairie and the surrounding cities.
We have a lot of Nigerians.
I have a lot of Nigerian Americans, a lot. So I was definitely supported. I thank God for our community. I thank God for our community support, and to be able to be a representative of our community and show people what we can do when we come to this country and we work hard.
We don't have to be the bare minimum just because we're immigrants, right?
We should never be the bare minimum.
Never.
I believe that when you come here, you should work extra hard to show that you can do the job.
We can do better.
Exactly.
We can be the best, actually. Wow, that is amazing. So you are preparing to run again, and you're hoping to be re-elected.
By God's grace, yeah.
How would you, if you were to, describe your the tenure of councilmanship, is that what it's called? councilmanship?
You could say that.
Okay. It's 2 years. Is it 2 or 3?
3. So it depends on your city.
Okay.
Like the city of Dallas, they do 2 years. City of Arlington has moved to a 3-year system down.
Okay.
They used to do 2 years. City of Fort Worth does 2 years. City of Grand Prairie, the city I serve, we do 3-year terms.
Oh, great. So you're in your 3rd year.
So I just started my 3rd year this summer. Yes, ma'am.
So how has the last 2 years been? I mean, if you could describe it in 3 words.
3 words. I'd say amazing. Well, I guess I'll use 4 words.
Okay.
Amazing and full of learning.
Okay.
So I've spent a lot of time learning and accustoming myself to the system and how to get things done within the political system. When it comes to service and leadership, understanding how to be a good public servant.
Yeah.
And being a younger person, I think it's really important that you take out the time to listen, to observe, and to learn from those that came before you and are serving.
Hello, young people. Listen.
Listen.
So what will
my
you
father
say?
would say listen.
You have to pull the ear as an African parent. If not, we won't take you seriously.
Exactly.
What would you say have been your top achievements so far? I mean, I know one.
Yeah.
Which is our private Grand Prairie Uber. That's what I like to call it because I see them everywhere. And I knew about them at I was at one of your events and you gave that speech and I was like, I didn't know about that before that speech.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, we have that. And then I started noticing these black and green cars all over the place. I'm like, oh, that's it. I mean, aside that, and that included actually, I mean, what other achievement do you think has been grand for you in the last 2 years that you've been a councilman?
Yeah, so I've been blessed to serve with a lot of good leaders, both our mayor, our council members, our city staff has been phenomenal, high quality public servants. So it's been a team effort. Looking at what you're talking about, the VIA ride-sharing system.
Oh, it's amazing.
VIA Grand Prairie, which takes our residents
super cheap too.
Exactly, anywhere in the city for $3 a ride.
Yeah.
And for our college students to nearby universities like UT Arlington, Tarrant County Community College at $3 a ride, and Dallas Baptist University and Dallas Community College Mountain View campus for $4 a ride. And to nearby hospitals as well. So it's been a really
literally anywhere within Grand Prairie, it's $3 a ride.
Grand Prairie and to the surrounding hospitals as well now too.
Listen, you can only benefit this by living in Grand Prairie. So don't think you're gonna leave somewhere else and expect the rides to be $3. This is for us Grand Prairie residents only.
And those that visit. If you visit and you're visiting.
If you visit Grand Prairie and you need a ride, as long as you're within that.
Exactly.
Then
you understand.
Period. It's for us, please.
Yes,
don't. That is $3?
It is, yeah.
And I mean, I've been seeing the cars. These are like actual. These are not just some. I don't know what to call it, but these are actual, good-looking cars. And I see the drivers like they look like they're serious work.
Yeah.
That is amazing. That is just really helping people be able to move around without having to wait for the bus and wasting time for the bus. Like, how many minutes would you say? Is it just like an Uber? It's like an app?
It's similar to Uber because we don't have a bus system in Grand Prairie.
We don't.
We don't have public transportation. So
no,
this is
we don't. We don't have no trains, nothing.
Nothing. So it's a good in between.
Yeah.
But typically, we've gotten the time down so people are waiting about 15 minutes to be picked up. So 15 minutes for a $3 ride is not terrible.
I mean,
our goal is as we continue, because we've been doing this for now a year and almost a year and a half. As we continue to get that time down to a sweet spot of maybe 10 minutes, you wait 10 minutes to get a $3
And that is definitely
ride.
giving the people employment. I mean,
think about the young people that can't afford a car, but want to go work at Kroger or McDonald's or any of the 15, 16-year-olds.
Or even like now that it's summer, college students are home, they want to hang out, they want to go out. Mom is busy at work, she can drop me off. It's just $3.
$3 a ride.
That is amazing.
So yeah, that's a program we're really proud of. Also proud of our minimum wage increases for all city employees. We raised it to $17.82 last year, and now have raised it for all part-time and seasonal employees to $15 an hour within the city of Grand Prairie. So
that is amazing.
And that's what it's all about, for our city employees to give them a livable wage.
Yes.
And we know how difficult it is, especially with high inflation. We look at economic issues that people that are working hard deserve to work with dignity and to be paid with dignity.
Yeah.
And that's what we try to do at the city of Grand Prairie.
That's right. That is just good work you're doing, and we can only just say thank you for all the work that you're doing. But at the end of the day, would you say that, I mean, this whole thing, it's profitable to us as Grand Prairie residents.
Yeah.
But we hear that councilmen are not, you guys don't even get paid at all.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to believe that. I want to believe that at least there's some benefit that you're getting from it, as, I mean, being a councilman. That might not be your primary reason, but I feel like there should be something. So is it true that councilmen do not get paid?
So it depends on the city. The city of Grand Prairie does not pay their council members or mayor's salary. Certain cities, larger cities, metropolitan cities will pay their members of their council a salary, but the city of Grand Prairie doesn't. So a lot of us that are serving because we truly care about the community, care about making the city better and making it more representative of the population. So it is something that, it is a sacrifice that you have to make, but I rather someone that cares about the community come and make that sacrifice rather than an individual that may not.
Just
so
taking money and not doing anything.
It's a sacrifice, and that's how I look at it. And I thank God that I'm in the position where I'm able to fend for myself and make money in the private marketplace on my own rather than having to rely. So it's a blessing either way, and I just thank God that I'm here able to serve.
Now, there's some positions where I know that you have to invest your own money to do things for the people. Is that the case in being a councilman?
What do you mean invest?
Like, I know we have some positions like back home in Nigeria where there's the royal positions where they have to help the city with their own personal funds.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, oh, they have.
So in Grand Prairie, we don't. I mean, from time to time, I'll donate to charities. I get charities money, nonprofit organizations money to support the work that they're doing, which does help residents in the city of Grand Prairie and surrounding communities. But we don't have to put our personal dollars into the city to help things. That stuff happens through the taxpayer system. So as you're paying your taxes, you're paying your property taxes, your sales tax, all the other fees, that's how we're able to fund the city's operation, day-to-day operations through those property taxes and sales taxes.
That is amazing. So looking forward, I know that you're looking towards being reelected.
Yes, ma'am.
What are your plans? I mean, I know there's still like a lot to do in Grand Prairie. Grand Prairie is amazing. I live in Grand Prairie, and to be honest, I've seen changes over the years. I mean, from when I first lived there like 4 or 5 years ago until now, is completely different. At least some parts that I've been to. But what are future plans? We're already doing amazing work. What are some things you're looking forward to doing if you get reelected? And by the grace of God, you will get reelected.
Amen. Amen. Yeah, so by God's grace, first thing I'm looking at is infrastructure improvements. Okay. The federal government has billions of dollars right now when it comes to infrastructure to allow us to repair and improve our airports, our roads, our bridges, our streets, our water maintenance, things that just help people on a day-to-day basis. So securing some of those federal dollars, federal grants to be able to improve our infrastructure is my #1 goal, because you'll know in different parts of Grand Prairie, certain areas need a little bit more assistance than others do. And that's what happens when you have an older city. So we want to make sure that we're taking care of our residents, taking care of our streets, our bridges, our roads. Another thing that I will look at is dealing with minority contracts with the city. So making sure that we're creating a more inclusive space for minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, black-owned businesses, Hispanic-owned businesses, everybody to have an opportunity to contract with the city of Grand Prairie and have a chance to work with the city.
Nice.
So those are 2 things that are really important to me. A third will just deal with civic engagement. Throughout my term in office, I've been very active, community events, doing things for the residents that live in Grand Prairie. Annually, I do a community picnic and school supplies drive where I invite people to come and try out different food from different cultures. We'll be having it again this year, August 12th, Saturday, August 12th.
Oh, that's around the corner.
About 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
But it's really good because people come and they'll try Nigerian food, they'll try American food, Asian food.
We better be there.
Exactly.
Y'all better be there.
Exactly. A lot of different food, but also they bring school supplies for us to give to the local school district or local schools. So that's what we do every year as a true community event, community engagement to bring everybody together.
That is amazing. I will definitely try my best to be there.
Thank you. And please share it. Share it with the audience.
Yes, and I hope you guys have a flyer or something that we can put
I'll send it to you.
Yes, that would be amazing. And that would be, a nice place to meet so many different people. Network, besides just the food.
Exactly.
Network with other people. That is definitely amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow, you're doing great.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm sure that I'm not the only one proud of you. I'm sure every Nigerian, every African, every immigrant listening to this is super proud that you're just 24 and you're doing these things, and you were an immigrant. You were not born here. I need to emphasize on that. Yeah. You don't have to be born here to do things that citizens of America are doing. You can we do not do bare minimum, and that's on period.
The former president of the United States, Barack Obama, his father was an immigrant.
Yep.
So let's, we always have to keep that in mind, that anything is possible, anything's achievable, but you got to work very hard, and you'll be able to do it.
You need to push yourself.
Definitely.
I want to put you on the spot a little bit. What would you say to a 21-year-old immigrant young man or young woman? They necessarily don't have to be interested in politics, but just, someone that is feeling like, am I really in the right place? Can I really achieve? I used to feel that way when I first moved here. It's like, if I was back home, I would have been doing better. I would have grown more. I would have achieved my dreams faster.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, there's a reason I'm here. But some people just don't have that motivation to say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna make this happen. Yeah. What advice would you give to a young Nigerian, young immigrant in the United States right now?
I would say first and foremost, nothing in life that is worth it is gonna come easy. It's all gonna be hard, It's all gonna be work, but that's the beauty of it. Because eventually you will overcome, you shall overcome, and you'll make something of yourself that you'll be very proud. So persevere. And the unfortunate thing about life is sometimes we give up right before we're about to make it. We may be at the finish line,
almost there,
but you just don't know. So you say, I'm going to give up. So I recommend to anybody, if you live in this country, truly, if you live in this country, you can do almost anything. But it's going to take hard work. It's going to take
it's
going to take resilience. When I was running for city council, doing the work that I do now, a lot of folks told me I couldn't win. Told me I had no chance to win. I'm wasting my time because the guy that I ran against was supposed to be the next mayor of Grand Prairie. And I ran an at-large race representing 200,000 people. So I served 200,000 people every day. And I was told that I couldn't do it. I had no chance. But what does that mean? It's just words.
Yeah.
Words are empty, but it's actions that matter. So be resilient, be persistent, be prayerful. Obviously, you pray to God and ask God for strength and for wisdom and for discernment. But keep pushing, because it's going to be worth it at the end of the day. But you gotta put your right foot forward to be able to make it.
Those are really powerful words. I'm absorbing those words right now. We all need to hear that. I needed to hear that. Thank you for those words. Now, what would you need from us as your fellow Nigerians, as fellow Texas residents? What would you need from us for your re-election?
Primarily to share the word, let people know that Junior Ezon, who's running for city council re-election, encourage them to come out and support me. My election is going to be next year in May. I believe it's May 4th. It's the first Saturday of May. I got to look at the calendar. But just, encourage people to come out and vote, because our vote is our voice, and our voice matters.
Yeah.
And like they always say, if you don't have a seat at the table, you're on the menu. Meaning that if you don't have a seat at the table, people are going to decide what you get and what you don't get.
That's right.
You want to have that seat at the table so you can be part of that discussion. Being part of the discussion is vital.
People make the decisions. That's right.
100%.
Oh, man, you're full of wisdom. I don't even feel like I'm talking to a 24-year-old, right? I don't think people are going to believe you're just 24.
Trust me, when I was 22 and I got elected, they didn't believe that then. I don't think they'll believe it now.
I don't believe it. I was at your 24th birthday.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I believe it.
Yeah.
But I still don't believe it.
I'm not mad at you. I'll be 25 next year.
I know. Yeah, I think 25 sounds better.
Next year when I get there.
Oh my gosh, like you're just so full of wisdom.
Thank you.
So what is that end goal for you? I mean, I know you had your bachelor's in political science. Yeah. So you always knew you wanted to do politics.
Once I got to high school, I settled on that.
That's early.
Yeah, but for me, the end goal, man, I just want to keep on serving. I want to keep making a difference and making my community a better place for everybody to live. I want to be that voice for those that don't have a voice. I want to be that champion for those that need one and are seeking one. So I'm not worried too much. I mean, I'm 24 years old. I'm not concerned about what do you do next, what do you do.
Yeah.
We'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
Let's focus.
No pressure.
Yeah, let's focus on
no pressure.
Because I think if you stay focused on what's next, you neglect the job that you have right now. Exactly.
That's right.
Let's focus on helping as many people as we can help right now while I'm here, because like we always remember, no condition is permanent. This is all temporary. So utilize all the time that you have to do the most good that you can do.
Yeah. Well, I heard you, but I'm also saying that we will be right here with you when you decide to run for the president of the United States. We don't care how long that's going to take, but we're getting there. By the grace of God.
I got you.
Okay, so question. What do you think is the biggest misconception people have about politics in the United States?
That's a really good question. I think the first thing is that a lot of politicians are rich off serving. Unfortunately or fortunately, depending on which side of the aisle you want to stand on this, majority of politicians, especially on the local level, like myself, we're doing this as public servants. A lot of us have another job that we're doing. So we're here because we want to make a difference in our communities. We truly care about our communities and understand how good governance can shape and move a community in the right direction where everybody has an opportunity to thrive. In this world, we cannot create a system where everyone is going to become a millionaire, everyone is going to become successful, but you want to give everybody the opportunity to make that choice and put in the effort to get to where they want to go.
That's right.
And that's why I think a lot of us serve, and that's probably a big misconception that we're just servants. A lot of us are just servants.
And that's what I was saying, like, I heard that councilmen do not get paid.
Yeah.
And you're making me feel like that's true.
Yeah, it's certain, like in the city of Grand Prairie, we don't get paid a salary. So yeah, that's how certain cities do it. And
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, well, we serve, and that's what we do. Okay. So what would you say? I mean, I know you didn't really have like so much of a life, but you are in tune with Nigerian politics. When we had one of the presidential candidates recently come to Texas, I know we met there.
Yeah.
What do you think you would say is the major difference between politics here in the U.S. and politics back home in Nigeria?
You know, politics everywhere is quite similar. I think the biggest issue that Nigerian politics has compared to American politics is just the fact that a lot of Nigerian politics has not presented positive results in people's lives. So you look at issues with power and light and electricity, the lack of public welfare programs that are effective, public education. Lack of public education. There's no public education.
I feel like there's a lack of everything in Nigeria.
I wouldn't say all of that, but in America, we're not perfect, but at least at the bare minimum, you have those welfare programs that are
we have basic
that are lifelines to people that really need it. You have basic needs that are met, infrastructure, decent roads, good public schools, where even if you're someone that doesn't make money, you can send your kid to a good school.
Good school,
and your kid can become the next president
or
the next governor.
That's right. So, because we literally have, the average is good enough to be more than average.
Yeah.
Because look at the schools that we call public schools here. They're like, they don't even look like public. You can almost not tell the difference between a public school here and a private school.
Yeah.
Which is good. There's almost everyone goes to the school in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So that's amazing.
But in America, there is differences between the tiers of public schools.
That's right.
Because the public school system, unfortunately, is funded on the property tax values. So a lot of schools that are in areas that are more poor or economically disadvantaged, you'll see schools that are not as great as if you go to a school that's in a very wealthy area. That's another issue. But when you compare it comparatively to a third world or developing nation, it's a big difference.
Huge
even
difference.
At the lowest level. Yeah.
Huge difference.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow, that's a lot to take in. Now we're gonna get a little bit less. It's becoming too serious up in here. It's important, but bro, we need a break. It's time for the hot seat, Junior. I don't know what's in here. I don't know what is in here, but you're gonna pick 3 random cards.
All right. I hope it's questions that I can answer.
I hope so. Let's go.
All right. Let's see.
Let's see. 1. Okay, what's that?
I have $1 million to donate to a cause. What would I choose?
Oh my God, you. Wait, no. That's too similar to what you did. But I'm gonna let you have it. Okay.
If I had $1 million, it would probably be a charitable organization that deals with healthcare and helping people that are not able to afford their healthcare. Because to me, healthcare is one of the most important issues.
And one of the most expensive things in this country.
It's ridiculously expensive. So anything that deals with healthcare would probably be my number one vehicle to produce change.
Do you have a specific health issue that you're in tune with? You know, there's some people that just want to help people with cancer. There's some people that...
So for me, that's important.
Yeah.
I think the bare minimum of ensuring that every single American has health insurance. Some system where we get there, because every year 45,000 Americans die because they don't have health insurance.
Yeah, and I mean...
And people are like, how's that possible? Well, because they have issues that accrue because they're not going to the doctor for preventative checkups, for physicals, because they can't afford a doctor visit. The average American cannot afford a $500 hit to their
because I mean, even with insurance, just to have to pay.
You have a premium. You have deductibles. You have co-pay, co-insurance.
They're not cheap either.
They're not. There's so many things you have to finance and pay. So for me, health insurance is just that number. It's the floor, man. We have.
I was going through, you know, this insurance policy the other day for health insurance, and despite how much I was going to be paying, if I went to the emergency, I would still have to pay $400 on the spot. Yeah. I was like, so what is the point of the insurance if I'm still having... So what do people that do not have insurance pay if I'm having insurance and paying $400? Like...
Some of those people...
What?
Unless they're having an emergency, like a life or death emergency, they don't get seen. Or they get seen very late. So that's the issue with a for-profit health insurance system. So that's the other
day I had to call, my neighbor had to call 911. When I got the bill, I was like, people in Nigeria feel like, oh, you just call the ambulance, you just call 911. It's not free. It is not. It was over $1,000. I was like, do not ever call 911 for me. It was over $1,000.
Yeah, depending on where they have to take you.
It was like, the hospital was like super close. So when they wanted to take me back home, I was like, I'm gonna take Uber. I'm good.
I'll find my way back.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna take Uber. It was like, no, this is crazy.
It's unfortunate, and that's what happens in our system. So that's why to me, healthcare is so important.
It is. I mean, health is wealth. It is. Okay, we're getting serious now. Number 2. Let's go. What's there?
If I were to break a world record in the next 5 years, what would it be?
Something wrong with this thing. Something wrong with this thing. We need to shuffle these cards. You're picking things that are like
I'm just picking,
in line with your world.
I'm just picking. What one thing would I consider a deal breaker on a first date?
Oh, now we're talking. Let's go. I mean, we've been seeing the serious sides of you. We need more of these. You
guys, what's one thing I would consider a deal breaker?
On the first date.
On the first date.
Yes, first date.
I
want to know this. I want to know this.
Oh my goodness, this is a great question.
It is. I'm ready.
I really have
give it to me right now. Let's go.
I really have to think about it. I think for
okay, wait. I'm gonna ask you. When last were you on a date?
Oh my goodness.
When last were you on a date?
I'm not discussing.
No, we're talking about that. We are talking about that.
What I will say to this question is probably bad hygiene is gonna be my deal breaker.
I feel like that should be everybody's deal breaker.
Yeah, but it's the easiest one for me to say.
So you have like a list of deal breakers.
No, let's do the third question. And
you're still gonna answer that question.
Who would I have the hardest time living with? That's not really a fair question.
That should be hard.
What kind of question is this? Would I have the hardest time living with?
Yeah, I mean, it's not hardest time. So it's like, who is the worst? You're like, I can't live with this person. It's just gonna be hard.
I'll say an inconsiderate person that lacks empathy.
No, this has to be. You have to be specific.
That's my answer.
You have to be.
That's my answer.
I mean, if I was asked this question, this is easy. This is easy for me.
What would you say?
And then it's your question.
No, what would you say? I gave you my answer.
You say, what's my answer?
Yeah, what would you say?
You really want this answer?
I've already given my answer. I'm a politician. I have to keep it very...
Who would I have the hardest time living with? Oh, man. I can't say that on camera.
Yeah, so if she wants to...
No, they should go be heartbroken. But there's someone in mind, for sure. So when was your last date?
Alrighty.
I'm gonna tell you this for sure. I know you have a social life, but I see you mostly having a social life at Epic.
Yeah.
No, we need you outside of Epic.
The thing is, I have a social life. The issue is...
Yes, so you just cannot put it out there.
I'm a public servant, and that's my job.
You have to be careful what you put out there.
I'm a public servant.
I still feel like this question was not rightfully answered. But it's okay. We're going to take it.
Thank you for taking it.
But I'm going to ask you off camera. Well, that's it for us right here on Beyond Borders. Thank you so much for coming here, and you have given us like so many wise words, and we're definitely looking forward to seeing you being reelected. Next year we would keep putting the word out there, and we really hope that people come out to support you, and we hope to bring you back after re-election.
No, I'll be here
to congratulate you, because we know that this is just the beginning for you. Please do not forget to come out and support Junior as he is planning to run again, and by God's grace we pray for you, and we hope that you get re-elected.
Thank you.
That's it for us today on Beyond Borders. Catch us next week right here, and this is Candy Shay signing out.